guys, so since I'm here at Kenan's, I wanted to kind of feature something I wasn't able to last year when I came because it was so cold. He had a lot of stuff locked up, and now it's a bit warmer, which I'm super glad about. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into talking about some tortoises, and tortoises that are some of the best pets for you and what they can do.
Very good. What's up, guys? So you guys don't follow my channel, you know, this is my home. That's the brown house. And we're coming over to the Redford Tortoises. And that's the first species in our little stop. These are probably some of the best pet tortoises ever because, as you can see here, we've got a variety of sizes. So there's some younger tortoises, as you can see right here, but we've also got some older tortoises, like, for example, this large male here. So that's about as big as they're gonna get, maybe a little bit larger. There's another large male behind you. See him walking up the back there. The cool thing about these are they are extremely personable and friendly. And actually, here's a little cautionary tale. We'll take a break and tell you about Lego. Lego's got this really bad pyramiding due to metabolic bone disease. You'll see some tortoises have pyramiding, and it's not as horrible as hers. You can see this is, even still, these are kind of raised scoots. Scientists don't know exactly what causes it, but they know there are a variety of causes, and it could be feeding them too much too quickly, growing an animal too quick. In the case of Lego, this was what we would call MBD, or metabolic bone disease. So this was an improper diet, lack of natural sunshine or any UVB lighting. So this tortoise kind of grew up a little wonky. Looks like a Lego piece that you might accidentally step on when you're barefoot and kind of hurt your feet. But if you can kind of understand, you see that kind of saddle back there. Her spine is attached to her shell. The shell is actually, as you know, or maybe you don't know, part of their skeleton. So if she had any more of a deformity, she'd have some real problems moving around. However, she's a cute little gal. We love her. She came here, and I keep her because I like to teach people about how not to feed your animals or raise them up. So you want UVB, you want the right diet, and you want the right amount of the right diet. You don't want to overfeed these animals. So these guys here are very good tortoises if you live in a larger apartment, or if you have space in the backyard. You want to always make that consideration when you purchase or get a tortoise pet, because it's not like a turtle that's going to live in a tank. It's actually going to basically want to wander around. This is large. This is like the largest Redfoot I've ever seen. The males, of course, have this concave plastron and a long tail, and they'll also have what's called wasping. Can you guys kind of make out how it's a little bit more narrow at the waist? The males will get that, and that's one of the ways you can tell it's a male. So you can kind of look down at them, and if they don't have that wasping, you'll know that it's not really a male tortoise. Like this one, look at how pronounced that is. It's almost like it's got a little hiney there, you know. It's got a cute little butt. But they're really great tortoises. These guys eat a wide variety of food, Greg. These guys will eat fruits, they eat vegetables, they browse on leaves, on different grasses, and they'll also eat from time to time, much like Burmese mountain tortoises, they'll eat some protein. So usually that comes in the form of an earthworm or a dead rodent or some dead animals, or carrion, as we like to call that. They'll just wander around and grab it. They're from South America. You can also find them on some small Caribbean islands like Trinidad and Tobago have a population of these guys, but I love them. They're just so much fun. And here's their habitat. They need fresh water. They don't need to swim, but they always have water to drink. It's very important. Places for them to hide. Okay, so there's grasses. I use fountain grasses. You see they like to hide under them. But they're a very versatile little tortoise. They can take forest conditions, and they can also take grassland conditions. They're found in both all throughout their range in South America. They're awesome, man. There's 30 of them in here, actually. The one thing you want to do with these, though, is you're going to want to make sure that when it gets below 60 degrees, you pull them in and make sure they stay warm. And the other thing that's great about them is I've not really encountered a lot of aggression towards each other, so that makes it a cool species to kind of have a bunch of them in one enclosure. Like I said, there's 30 of them in here, but we've got kind of a large enclosure, so I kind of love them.
Yeah, That's awesome.
Yeah, do you have any questions? I've been yapping too much, dude.
Everything here is just so amazing. It's just giving me that flurry of ideas.
It's always fun going to other reptile people's homes because you get ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to do the exact same thing, but you might borrow little ideas. So that's why I love seeing other people's enclosures as well. Let me give you a word of advice. You'll notice over here I've kind of haphazardly had to stack more rocks because I had one male and one female that figured out where they could climb out. And they were the only ones that did it. And I would fix one area and then they climb out another. And the only way I was able to find out is I took my GoPro and I put it on time lapse and would just leave it out there for hours and scroll through. And I saw that's where he went. And it was the funniest thing. He would pace back and forth and then go right over. So they're more athletic than most people would give them credit for. Watch your little ankles. They're gonna nip you. Well, let's go check out another species from the other side of the world. It happens to be on the other side of my property. But they're a really good species to work with. They're even smaller than the Redfoot, but their care is almost identical. And as we walk over there, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the Elongated Tortoise, and it's an animal from Southeast Asia. And I know you visit Southeast Asia a lot. Your wife is from Thailand, so that's pretty cool. You get to go over there. And you were telling me you see those turtles in temples all the time?
Yep.
That's really cool.
It's pretty common over there for people to rescue them, and they want to bring them to the monks at the temple to take care of them and, you know, kind of keep them from ending up in the soup pot.
Well, no soup turtles here. Come on in. So right now these guys are just kind of hanging out. Sometimes they're very drab in color, but I'm not like one of these guys that likes a turtle because it's got colors or anything. Number one, I'm colorblind. And number two, it's about personality and the ease at which I can kind of work with the animals. So there's just a bunch. There's about 25 of them in here. And here they come. Much like the Redfoots, once we start hanging out here, they'll start to congregate. Like I said, this species comes from Southeast Asia, and it actually ranges down into Indonesia, into some of those islands. They're extremely hardy because they have such a wide range. You can find these animals, you know, in different habitats. Mostly they're going to be found in canopied forest. But the other interesting thing about them is you can find them at elevation, higher up. And when you go higher up, even in the tropics, temperatures drop. I never worry about these tortoises down here in South Florida at all. I don't do anything until it gets in the 20s. And even then, what you do is you just take piles of leaves and just pile it over the animals, and it creates a nice little insulation. Look at this. Here's a male, and it's just funny, you know, I've been like with these animals for so long, I just know their appearances. It's kind of an interesting looking tortoise, and that's, you know, it's elongated. That's why it's the Elongated Tortoise. And another tortoise that looks similar to this is the Forsten's tortoise, and then there's also a Tranvicore tortoise. They're really just great. In breeding season, the male's heads will turn pink. They also call this the yellow-headed turtle. But much like the Redfoots, you're going to get that concave plastron, a large tail, and that's it. There's no wasping for these guys, but they're really cool. Eat the exact same things as a Redfoot tortoise, since they're found in similar habitats. You know, there's going to be fruit consumed, leaves, grasses, and of course the odd bug or worm or dead animal that they happen upon. If you're a tortoise, you're not a hunter. But so if you found yourself with manna from heaven, like a dead animal, you're going to stop and get a free bit of protein if you can. The reason I like these guys and why I try and push them all the time, Greg, for people that are getting into tortoises, is this is their max size. So this is an animal that you could absolutely keep up north if you had a nice sized tortoise table. They're very easy as long as you have the UVB. They do like higher humidity, so you definitely want to have a soaking area, and you should mist them down a couple times, probably once a day if possible, but then allow it to dry out completely. So great species, man. I love them.
Yeah, they're a great example of like convergent evolution, you know, like where, you know, similar to like a green tree python and an emerald tree boa, the Redfoot and Yellowfoot tortoises are almost the exact same type of tortoise.
They're filling a niche. They're filling a specific ecological niche, you know. By and large, tortoises all over the place perform the same functions. They're seed dispersers. They keep things mowed down. They clear undergrowth. They're just fantastic little marvels of evolution, you know, and they walk around with their home on their back, which is always neat. They're just obviously we're kind of biased. We love them. So these are just 2 species I think you guys should look into. I think they're fantastic. And once you've mastered that, we could talk next time you come down about a few other species, you know? Be a good time.
Perfect, man. Thanks again.
No worries, brother. Glad you showed up. I'm glad it was warm too.
I know, right? So thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you so much to Kenan for sharing his tortoises and his tortoise setups with me. And it's just getting me going on so many more ideas of what to build in the springtime when things get better. Hopefully wood prices come back down. And I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.